Hello and welcome to Gatehouse Maritime's webinar with focus on asset protection. My name is Ole Madsen and I work here in Gatehouse as product director for our maritime solutions, and from under here belongs asset protection and also maritime surveillance solutions. So I'll do my best to take you through the webinar today. Let's get the slide going here. Today's webinar is scheduled to last 30 minutes and it's structured in the following way with who, why, how, what, 2 cases, a short demo and a short Q&A session. First we will look at who is Gatehouse Maritime. Then we will see why do you need asset protection. How do we do asset protection in Gatehouse? And what do we do with asset protection? In the 2 cases consist of Telepost from Greenland, who is one of our long-lasting customers for asset protection. The other case is from Gas System from Poland, who is a recent acquired customer for our solution. For the demo session, I have it will be a semi-demo session. I have to some extent pre-recorded the demo, but I'll show you how easy the setup is, and then there will be a Q&A session at the end. There will be an option for asking Q&As like questions in the chat, and the chat should be available on your screen. Now, first we start with Gatehouse. Who is Gatehouse? Gatehouse Group consists of 3 companies. There's Gatehouse Satcom, which is a company that works with Inmarsat satellite software. Basically, they do the protocol stack software, and our software is in roughly half of all the devices deployed in the world using the Inmarsat satellite system. Then we have Gatehouse Maritime, where I belong to. Here we do software applications for the maritime industry. Finally, we have Gatehouse Igniter. It is an incubator for startup companies, and currently we have 2 startup companies under our umbrella here. The majority of the 65 employees are working in Satcom and in Maritime, and the company was founded in 1992, so almost 30 years ago. Our mission is to deliver flexible and scalable SaaS and DaaS application solutions for the industry. Now we continue to the why you need asset protection. The offshore and subsea assets are all part of a critical supply and infrastructure for a global society. The asset can be divided into 2 times 2 groups. One is the offshore and one is the subsea assets. When we talk about subsea assets, this is, for instance, power cable, which are deployed in an ever-increasing number. Example worth mentioning here could be that recently deployed is the world's longest power cable of 720 kilometers. It goes from Norway to UK. Norway is supposed to supply hydropower to UK, and when the wind is blowing in UK, they will supply wind power back to Norway. Another example of power cable to be installed is one going from Morocco to UK. This would be 3,800 kilometers power cable and will supply solar power from Morocco to UK. Another example of subsea assets are pipelines. This can be pipelines for gas or for oil. One that could be worth mentioning here is, for instance, the Nord Stream 2 gas pipelines, which is 1,200 kilometers currently being deployed between Russia and Germany. Offshore assets, which is the second group, is wind farms. Offshore wind farms are being built all around the world, also in an increasing pace, with the world going from black energy to green energy. Latest in offshore wind farms are actually floating wind farms, which you can deploy at farther out in the sea. Both the wind farms and the power transmission cables needs protection. The second offshore asset is oil rigs. Now, while the deployment of oil rigs has more or less stalled, there's still a need for additional and more sophisticated protection for existing oil rigs to avoid accidents with them. So the assets, the offshore and subsea assets, are supplying and connecting us together between continents, between regions, between countries, in communication and energy supply solution, thus providing a backbone for our ongoing globalization and economic growth and wealth. The increased deployment of offshore and subsea assets calls for increased sophisticated protection solutions. As I just mentioned, the solution must be able to, in depth, to analyze vessel traffic and traffic patterns prior to deployment, and the solution must be able to detect and predict threats in real-time operation and also document incidents should any incidents occur. How do we do asset protection in Gatehouse Maritime? Well, Gatehouse Maritime asset protection application solutions are well proven with more than 15 years in operation. The solutions are based on an extremely reliable technology platform that are hosted in the AWS cloud. AWS cloud is the Amazon Web Service cloud. One of the key technology platform components are Gatehouse Maritime Data Foundation. The data foundation holds historical data points for up to 300,000 vessels up to 10 years back. And the data foundation are updated in real time with worldwide vessel traffic information. The update per day is roughly 150 million updates. So just during the duration of the webinar here, we have already received roughly 1 million updates from vessel and real-time traffic information. And that's how we do it. Now, what we do provide proactive protection for a timely and precise response to events. This is also it's also known as threats, but we call it events because this system can actually be used to other things that are not directly threats, but can be used in other contexts, like monitoring of other things. The protection is based on geofencing technology combined with historical AES data, real-time AES data, and prediction technology based on machine learning algorithms, taking the historical data into account and combine it with real-time AES data. Protection is automated, and by enabling monitoring and detecting on different scenarios. This could be a vessel entering or leaving a protected area, a vessel slowing down, speeding up, or turning in a protected area, or it could be a vessel anchoring up in a protected area. We do have different kinds of abnormality triggers which can be applied also, not only entering the area, but also if it has strange behaviors inside the area. Protection areas are easily defined using our system. it basically consists of different type of shapes and combined with filters. The filter will enable you to include or leave out certain types of ships. This could be, for instance, if you are monitoring something just where a ferry crossing every 1 hour, you don't want to have alerts for that. For instance, you can leave out ferries, but on the other hand, you want to look very thoroughly for fishing boats. You can include fishing boats in the filter list, and then you can set it up in a way that fits your needs very detailed. The event detection overview is also done in the system, and it's combined with an option for notification. The notification can come via an email. We send you an email to a certain sender, to a person, etc. It can come as an SMS, or we can also support AES message transmitting, provided that the hardware is available for that. Finally, as an add-on, we do support definition and broadcasting of virtual ATONs that can also be used to mark specific areas for protection. ATONs is aids to navigation and is a virtual buoy. So what we do in summary, during asset pre-deployment phase, we have support for different options of analysis of historical tracks for the to be protected area. For instance, up in the right corner of the picture, there's a report for historical tracks for certain area. You can see how the traffic is and where the sailing routes are. We also support statistical traffic density plots for the to be protected area. And on the bottom right side, you can see the density plot. The more red, the more traffic there is, and the density plot can be done over time, all the way up to 10 years back, based on our Maritime Data Foundation. We do also support other sorts of reports, like near miss to points reports, and all of the pre-analysis can be consolidated in several reports you can use when you plan your deployment. During asset deployment phase, there's support for the full range of asset protection, including protection of temporary deployment vessels, equipment, etc., that you might need during the deployment. And then during the asset operation phase, there's support for the full range of protection features that would be including events alert features, events historic. You can see what happened yesterday, 10 days back, a year back. There's event analysis, and we have an event replay option, so you can also replay the events. Finally, we do support IRAP Mark II risk assessment tools. IRAP is a modeling tool for maritime risk assessment. IRAP is used to estimate frequency of different events happening. So this could be how would the frequency be for a grounding or for a collision in a specific area based on the traffic you have. So that was why you need it, how we do it, and what we do. Now I will just move on to a couple of cases we talked about initially. Telepost is one of our long-lasting customers, as I said. It uses our asset protection for protecting a communication fiber cable that goes from Canada to Greenland and up along the west coast of Greenland and over to Iceland. You can see it on the upper right corner of the slide. Some years back, the fiber cable was within 1 month actually cut over twice by a Canadian trawler. And at that time, Telepost did not subscribe to our asset protection solutions. We did help Telepost to identify the trawler and its whereabouts. And the result was that the insurance company of the trawler was convicted by a Canadian court to pay for both repairs. So that was one of the positive results. Another positive result for us was that Telepost immediately thereafter signed up for a 10-year subscription contract for our asset protection solution. The next example is a gas system in Poland. That's one of our new customers. They're building a pipeline for gas transportation between Poland and Denmark. It's called the Baltic Pipe Project. The subsea pipeline is under construction and uses our asset protection solution during this deployment phase. And the solution will also include setting up of AIS transponders in Denmark and in Poland for both receiving but also for sending out AIS warning messages to ships. And you can see a little more detail where the pipeline, the Baltic pipeline is. So it goes from Poland on the down right corner up to Bornholm, which is a Danish island, and then it make a sharp left turn into to Denmark there on the upper left corner. This is roughly 270 kilometers pipeline, and it's like 2/3 deployed, and we believe that it will start operation next year. Good. So that was 2 examples. The next is a short introduction to our system and how it's used. This would be the semi-demo I told you about. The setup comes in an easy 3-step approach. First, you define an area. Basically, this could be any area you want to protect. We have predefined figures in our system, so you can predefine a point, line, polygons, or circles, depending on your needs. When you have defined the area using shapes, you go on and define the filter, and here's the option for including and leaving out different types of vessels, for instance, excluding ferries, including fishing boats, including boats with a special draft or with a special speed, or over or below a special speed. So there's a lot of different options to be defined there. Finally, in the event administration, you define the event and specify the conditions and actions you want to have set in place for when you detect a vessel in your area. So this is from our system, and it might be a little difficult to see, but I have defined a new gas pipe going from Hirtshals in Denmark up to Kristiansand in Norway. So this is the shape you defined, or the area. So there's a tab on the upper bar called shapes. So you go into there, define the area, and you can see there's different predefined areas. Just in the second row of the bar there, you polygons, circles, etc. So you define and save the area. Then you move on to defining your filters, and while the text might be a little low on the right side, I have defined ships type equal fishing, which means we will be looking for fishing boats. Again, you save your filter, and then you move on to defining the event in the event administration. And I do apologize for the text might be a little low or a little small. But here you define the area, you define the filter, and then in the bottom right you define what you want to have happen when an event is detected. So like if you want email sent to, you can send it to multiple addresses. You can send SMSs to multiple addresses. You can define AES messages you want to send out. And also as part of the event administration, you can define this abnormal behavior in the area, which could be a certain speed drop you can get alerted on, or it could be a special turning, it could be anchoring up, for instance, so you get additional features to be alerted on. After the definition, we all set, and then you can go into event monitoring, and you can see there's all the green dots are the fishing boats, and there's one that has entered our protection area, and this is the one coming up with the light green. Also, I received an email called Vodstock OMA Norway DK shape activated on ship Fish Hunter 1, and on the list on the right of the display, this Fish Hunter 1 would actually be on the top of the list, showing when it entered the protected area, and also all the details about the ship, IMO, MMSI, etc. So you have a good track on that. So in principle, it's a very easy 3-step approach to set up the event monitoring, and you can have as many events monitoring areas as you want to in our system. Now we came to the Q&A session, and I can see there's a few Q&As already. So one of them is, where do we get our AES data from? Because the system is the foundation of the system is based on AES data. We get both from terrestrial and from satellite networks. So we have some different cooperation partners that supplies us with terrestrial and satellite AES data. And we are also looking into getting an additional data stream for receiving a dynamic AES data, or vessel AES data, it's also called that in some areas by some suppliers. Another question is the application solution developed internally in Gatehouse? And the question here is, yes, it is. All the software is done internally. We do use some framework. So besides the internal software development, we also provide a service support function. So it's my screen that's coming up. Say I have 4 minutes left to talk. So we are also supplying a support function. We support our customers 24/7. So both internally, the development is done internally, support is done internally. Only the hardware, the iron, is outsourced, and here we use the Amazon Web Service. And as part of our software development, we do supply our solutions both as a software as a service, where we have a web interface included, and we also supplied as a data as a service, which means you can integrate it into your own software. Here we use a REST API functionality that makes integration very easy into your functionality. Then there's another question: what is the price for the asset protection solution? And it's I would say it differs. It depends. The price vary based on a number of factors, like how much of the functionality you want to have, both for the analytic phase and the reporting phase, but also how much data you want to have access to. So if you want 10 years of historical data, it has one price combined with real-time data coverage. And if you don't want the historical data, you get a different price, and also the area for where you want the data coverage. So there's different triggers that depends that makes the price up. Generally, we can say that the asset protection solution is sold on a subscription basis, which means you will pay a yearly fee for our solution, and that includes new and bug fixing, minor feature updates. It includes the service, etc., and the support. And it's straightforward to come on board our system. So the webinar is almost done now. I don't really have time for more questions. However, if you feel like you have more questions, please do get in touch with me. So my name is Ole Madsen, Product Director, and my email is oma@gatehouse.com. Then I'll try to answer your question as soon as possible. And otherwise, we are looking forward to hear from you if you have any questions, or if you want to get a real life demo. I can say that typically when part of our solution is also that you would get a training sessions, and typically it takes like up to 2 days to training session. So don't be afraid that you didn't get it here in this half an hour. So, but everything is available. So just get in touch with us. Then I would say thank you for today and for you listening in. And I hope you enjoyed this short introduction to Gatehouse Maritime Asset Protection Solutions. Thank you and have a good day.